Okay, should be able to hear me in game. Just rearrange my desk because things are all over the place. Anyway, so welcome back everybody. You're watching the Premier League Season 3. My name is Triumphant Man and I will be casting Empire on the dice side versus Dignitas. Now this is game number 1 in a best of 3 series. Empire obviously a very, very powerful team at the moment. They obviously finished second to Navi in the Star Ladder series, and they are really the team to beat, themselves and Virtus Pro. Empire and Virtus Pro are probably the top two teams to beat at the moment in the Premier League, so Dignitas have got a tough one ahead of them. I would say Empire are quite easily the favourites here, but we'll see how Dignitas handle. Now, just a quick heads up, I believe this first match, let me just check. Yeah, this would be on a US East server. Game number 2 will be on an EU server. Obviously, Dignitas are an North American team, and the third game will be a coin toss. Now, continuing on with the bans, though, we do have Darkseer first banned by Dignitas, followed by a Batrider ban by Empire. No real surprises. Both those heroes extremely top tier at the moment. Of course, Darkseer, despite subsequent nerfs, he really unless he gets a radical skill change or like a serious nerf in the Ion Shell department, I can't really see him falling out of favour anytime soon. He is just that damn useful in this current metagame. That said, maybe a metagame shift might make people less likely to pick him, but what it is right now, his technical skill set is extremely useful when coordinated. It's just one of the things, when you have a hero that's an effective force multiplier like Darkseer, give it in the hands of a coordinated professional team like Dignitas or Empire or anybody like that, it becomes way more efficient than, say, just a flat-out set of skills like passive support skills, stuff like that. It's when you've got something that can truly act as a force multiplier, like the vacuum, the positioning skills. That is what really makes the Darkseer scary. However, we do have Nargasaran banned next up, so it looks like Dignitas are getting rid of the full AoE wombo combo at the moment. Just wondering if they might even pick up. We often see when we have a team first pick, they often go for something like a Rubik at this point in time. In fact, I think Rubik has been the most common first pick hero. That or Templar Assassin. Actually, TA hasn't been banned yet. I just wonder if she'll sneak through or not.
5 seconds remaining.
Empire, of course, tend to play a fairly aggressive lineup when we see them, but Dignitas, this is going to be rough for them. Obviously, they do have a stand-in tonight, number 2 there, who is not with the team. But Broodmother will be the final ban by Empire. They are worried about that off-lane pusher. Dignitas now with their first pick. Will they decide to snap up? And when Templar Assassin gets left in the pool, she often gets snapped up quite quickly. But at the same time, we've often seen flexible heroes like Rubik get selected first, just so a team doesn't tip their hand in any way, shape, or form. So Dignitas are going to take a little bit of time here to decide where they want to go. Just looking at those bans, I'm just looking at the Broodmother ban. Oh wow, okay, we're going to see an Undying line. This to me says really, this to me screams aggressive. Mostly because Undying, he scales off in the late game, he's not that efficient. Empire on the other hand, they open up with a Templar Assassin and a Jakiro, 2 extremely powerful heroes. And, well, they haven't really gone anywhere with their lineup at the moment. I get the feeling though they want to go a little bit towards the late game just because it looks like they don't want to get locked down with Broodmother being annoying, pushing her lane. Broodmother is extremely frustrating if you leave her alone. If you try and leave a carry alone with her lane, she tends to sort of get out of control. So you can't really leave something like a carry just to farm against a Broodmother safely. A, because Broodmother will get out of control. B, because she'll start harassing them rather heavily with, of course, the spawn spiderlings harass. It is quite frustrating. Stop talking, please. Where is Empire from? Empire is a Russian team, if memory serves me correctly. Dignitas, on the other hand, being North American. But Dignitas now with a double pick. I think we'll see some more aggressive pushing heroes being picked up here. Or that we might even see something like an aggressive Tron. Of course, we've seen the Undying get thrown into those aggressive Trons. Of course, when you see the Tombstone go down, the more heroes that are around, just the more effective it is. And the Tombstone, when you maxed out early on, it is incredibly frustrating to play against. Just the amount of damage that it can pour out is utterly ridiculous. So they might be hoping to use that to try and shut down an enemy carrier, or they might just be hoping to push with it. If you get Undying, like if you get a few tanky or a few support items like the early mech, the early pipe, and then push early with Undying, it is quite powerful. The Undying now has been followed up by a Venomancer and then a Chaos Knight pick. That could be a strong dual lane, or it could be a strong. they wanted to. They could throw it in some kind of try, but I don't think so. Dual melee. I think Undying will be given his own lane. That, or he'll be put into a dual lane. We have seen some Undying dual lanes earlier on in the month, but I get the feeling that it's going to be Chaos Knight, Venomancer, and another support hero getting thrown into a lane together. That, or they might even possibly decide to run Venomancer and Chaos Knight together in the mid lane. That would be a good way to shut down the Templar Assassin and would probably force a dual lane response from Empire. Now, Empire have decided to pick up Wisp. This is mostly to keep it away from the Chaos Knight, I feel. And if you were planning to run some kind of trial with Chaos Knight, Wisp is definitely a fantastic selection just because of how Tether and Reality Rift work so well together. But now onto the second series of bans. At the moment, Empire, they have probably their solo mid sorted out with Templar Assassin. Both their supports sorted out as well. So they're looking for a primary farmer and probably a suicide solo if they're looking for a safe lane. Thing is though, they've got the Wisp now, and I don't know if they wanted to pick up this Wisp necessarily. Might even see a Tiny. We could possibly see a Tiny get picked up, except it was banned quite rightly by Dignitas. Of course, Tiny and Chaos Knight are probably the two most common heroes to get picked with Wisp. I'm just wondering if Dignitas will also ban the Sven, because when we saw the Chaos Knight and Tiny banned out, so Wisp couldn't be selected with it, the combo pick that we saw go with it was in fact a Sven, and there we go. Dignitas have gone, alright, we'll get rid of the Sven as well. So the question is, what are they going to go with instead here? I'm not dead sure. So you want something that can really benefit from the huge increased attack speed, as well as damage. Some kind of strength carry is often not a bad option. I'm just wondering if we might even see something. I was thinking maybe a Dragonite, maybe something like a Skeleton, maybe. I feel like Wisp is best utilized with some kind of really beefy, tanky, potential strength semi-carry. And in that case, we've got a few options, but it looks like Dignitas, or rather Empire, followed up with the Queen of Pain as well as an Obsidian Destroyer build. And that's somewhat surprising, but I didn't really expect that to get banned out there. But we'll see what they decide to go with the final ban here. Whether or not they'll pick something else here. Or they might just get rid of one of the Suicide Solos, because right now Empire could do with a Suicide Solo. Something the Windrunner would work out quite efficiently. That, or they could even opt for something like a Sand King, or a Tide Hunter even, would also be a possibility if they really wanted to. Or a Beastmaster. Beastmaster, of course, still on the board. Another excellent Suicide Solo. And it will be Juggernaut being banned out, so... Okay then, I haven't really seen a Juggernaut Wisp combo, but of course if you're going for sort of an early engagement pushing lineup, Juggernaut is incredibly useful in that regard. But Invoker is the final ban there from Empire. They're just getting rid of some of the early AoE in the form of Invoker as well as Queen of Pain. And I think Dignitas, they want to gank a bit, they want to cause a mess, they want to try and force early fights. If they could force early fights, push early, Undying is incredibly powerful. Chaos Knight, of course, is really useful in the early game as well. He does have a great stun, and of course Reality Rift is great for dragging people out of position. If they're looking for another support also, I feel a hero like Disruptor is also incredibly powerful. When you consider Chaos Knight and Disruptor, the range on them being able to drag people out of position is really, really useful. And of course Disruptor brings some nice AoE control as well to a fight. And they could do with another support. I am feeling that Undying is likely to be given a fair bit of farm here. But we will see. Unless they decide to throw it in the defensive lane, and maybe they'll just have Undying pull and then Venomancer keep an eye on Chaos Knight. That is also still a possibility. Now the fourth pick here from Dignitas, and they have chewed through a lot of their overtime, but they decide to go with the Disruptor pick. There we go. So it'll probably be Venomancer and Disruptor supporting the Chaos Knight. Whether or not this will be offensive or not, I think will depend on what Empire pick. I mean, they could even still. There's quite a likely possibility they might even just go, you know what, Venomancer Chaos Knight, dual mid. Shut down that Templar Assassin, make sure she never gets into the fight, never gets really farmed. Because a fast Blink Dagger or something on Templar Assassin can be utterly crippling. Orange has actually disconnected, he hopefully gets back in. Let me just check the chat. Oh. Dignitas have said they have lost their main picker? Okay, I'm hoping these are legit picks. I'm assuming they're legit picks because nobody else has all fled the game. But one final pick here for Dignitas. They don't have that long. In fact, it might be because their picker is gone. Nope. Okay, so they finish it up with a Rubik pick. Rubik is likely in this case, I think, to be solo mid. I think they may go with an aggressive Venomancer Chaos Knight Disruptor, put Undying in the safe lane, and then try and work with that and just try to shut down their opponents. Or they could even go with Chaos Knight Venomancer in the mid, throw Undying and Disruptor into the safe lane, and then put Rubik in the Suicide Solo. That is also possible if they want to go with the 1-2-2. on the Radiant side. Empire, on the other hand, they've sorted out their suicide solo in the form of Windrunner, but we'll see what they decide to pick up finally. They could probably do with a primary farm, unless Windrunner is supposed to be a primary farmer. Of course, she's flexible like that, that's definitely a possibility, but I kind of feel like they're looking for a primary farmer to go with Wisp, and they're probably just discussing what's left on the board. I think now might be the time, maybe for something somewhat unconventional, like an Ursa, Skeleton King. This is definitely a very weird lineup. By picking this Wisp last, I really think Dignitas have thrown him off in the banning stage here. I don't think Empire want to be left in this position where they pick Wisp last right before the banning stage, and that just left them right open for getting all of their heroes banned out, all of those strength carries, semi-carries banned out, but they finish up with a Pudge pick. So actually it looks like it's going to be a Pudge Wisp ganking combo, which isn't as if it doesn't have the same firepower of say a Chaos Knight, Sven, or Tiny being used as sort of that strength semi-carry being used with Wisp. Obviously his Tether is a lot more useful in that respect, but Pudge, of course, when used with Wisp, can get into good ganking positions, so it's not a huge loss. But we'll see how Empire handle this and whether we can see some crazy hook action. I should also mention, for people who aren't aware of this as being viewed as a VOD later on, as of this current patch at the moment, Silencer and Centaur War Chief are currently not available in Captain's Mode, but every other hero is. Anyway, so let's call out the players. Alright, so playing for Dignitas, on the Radiant side we have Fogged playing Rubik, Tides of Time playing Disruptor, the Stand-In 2 playing Undying, A2000 playing Chaos Knight, Way Too Sexy playing Venomancer, and for Empire on the Dire side we've got Goblin playing Jakiro, SS on Windrunner, Scandal playing Templar Assassin, Blow Your Brains on Pudge, and Blue Starly on the Wisp. In fact, normally when I see Empire playing with a Wisp CK combo, it's actually Blue Starly who will be playing, or in fact if they're running an aggressive combo, it will generally be Blue Starly who's playing that Chaos Knight. So interesting to see him on the other end of the ball with the Wisp instead this time around. So you see the GG, good luck there from Empire. Looks like it's going to be Undying. Okie dokie then. Chaos Knight being sent bottom with Disruptor. Is this a 2-1-2? This looks like it's going to be a 2-1-2. Rubik will be taking that solo mid in this case. Venomancer is going to be chilling up here. This is an interesting choice to send the dual lane up here. This could be very rough for them. They are up against a Pudge tri-lane. Okay then. It's definitely going to be dangerous for them to dive against, just because it is actually no, Venomancer might be breaking off, we'll see. It's going to be dangerous anyway, just because Undying, of course, is relatively tough to gank, but at the same time they've got a lot of stuns there, great slow, and of course the hook can really displace someone quite easily, and then the speed increase there from the Wisp on the Pudge is going to be problematic. But meanwhile, there is a gank, or rather harassment on Windrunner, who does manage to snake the haste rune away from that bottom rune spot. She does cop a fair amount of damage, though, has opened up with the Ring of Potential. It looks like she's going for that early Basilius, which is pretty stock standard. But no, Venomancer will be returning to back up Dirge in the top lane. This is going to be interesting indeed. I am definitely worried right now for Dignitas top lane. It is going to be rough, I think, especially since Venomancer, I think, is very, very vulnerable. But without the defensive stun, I think they could definitely run into trouble. I like the fact they've thrown down a counter ward already, just looking for any lane wards. Haven't found any, so that will allow them to sneak around a little bit easier in the jungle, to slip in there, try and leech experience, that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, Windrunner's not, alright, I'm not going anywhere near that lane. I'm just going to focus on stacking and then getting rid of the farm that later, possibly with the help of some friends. And there we go, that ward thrown down by Wisps. Looks like he tethers over the trees and cuts them all down there. The ward already scouted out by that Revelation ward and then cleaned up by the creep. So you see counter ward being thrown out. I think this is one that's just a block there to prevent that experience from being stolen from them. And something you'll probably see Dignitas do is attempt to pull this hard camp to lane, just because they can utilize that. SS on the other hand trying to handle, or trying to farm those ancients still. Meanwhile in the mid it will be Fogged versus Scandal. And I think Templar Assassin quite easily has the advantage here, as it looks like Undying may be getting out of position. The Ice Path was nowhere near on target. Keep in mind they are playing US East, so some of the Russian players may be struggling a little bit with ping. It's gonna be one of those really slow games. One of the downsides, obviously, to picking a suicide solo that doesn't have the ability to transition into the jungle if they're up against a rough lane that they don't want to compete with. But you see here, this refraction, the fact that Rubik is kind of burst oriented at the moment, with his main harassment tool is his Fade Bolt, so he's not really able to do a whole lot. in regards to harassing off the refraction charges with any great ease. Meanwhile, I am wondering how Pudge is going to handle this. Of course, he is getting hit by Decay, though he hasn't actually started spamming it that hard. On the other hand, Venomancer has been a long way back, hasn't really leached up a lot of experience, and that hard pull camp was actually utilised by the die there. Radiant missing out on getting a chance to pull that instead. Just looking at the farm at the moment. Templar Assassin currently 74. Rubik handling his own though, 8 and 2 himself. Meanwhile though, bottom lane, 15 and 5 here. Complete free farm for Chaos Knight. Our AO2000. There is no stopping him at the moment. Blow Your Brain has to be a little bit more careful, of course. Can't get as aggressive. Just because the Undying, if he gets the Tombstone up in a good position, of course, with the slow from Venomancer, they can cause a crippling amount of damage. And of course, if he catches all 3 heroes inside his Decay a couple of times, well, that can be utterly frustrating to try and kill him when he's stacking that much strength. See, Wisp chopping down as many trees as he can, trying to prevent any area for Venomancer and Dirge just to find places to hide and then heal, rather hide and then just leech experience. Meanwhile, you see Rubik has taken a fair bit of harassment. That has actually started ferrying the bottle back and forth. In fact, he's on back to base now to get refilled. Templar Assassin is giving him a lot of grief in that mid lane. On the top lane though, we see 6 and 0 there for Undying, currently punching on 14 and 4. They do have the better lane control. Obviously, they get the hook in there. It does catch the Undying. Throws down the Tombstone there. Nice little block. However, they throw in the Ice Path and decide to break off as soon as they see that Tombstone up. Blow Your Brain backs off, and he's trying to get out of range of the zombies. Not a bad idea at all. See the dual fire come in. It's going to try and run down Wisp. They get the Wisp with the Decay. Are they going to turn around and try and make it 2? Venomancer is still here, though. He's being beaten on by the Centaurs there. And it looks like he will decide to back up. The Centaur can't, but they get the stun down with the Ice Path. They're going to go for the second kill here. And Empire pick up 2 kills as Templar Assassin cleans up Rubik in mid at the same time. Any victory that Dignitas picked up there was short-lived indeed. At the very least, I believe they did get the first blood. As it looks like, yes, Undying did get the first blood there. Templar Assassin got her kill a little bit after. So again, that hard camp pull being utilised by the Dire side just comes in the fact they have the better control here. And unfortunately, the short range on Undying, as well as of course Venomancer, doesn't have fantastic range either. Means that they have to play quite defensive, and they're not really getting a whole. Well, the Venomancer's now really far behind. You see that Jakiro level 4, Pudge level 4, Wisp level 3. They are definitely doing a lot stronger here. As it looks like SS has been dragged in position, cleaned up by that club strike there from Chaos Knight. Dignitas pick up an equalizer there on the kill board. Now, farm-wise in mid though, Scandal and Fog, they're quite even. I'm just wondering if Scandal's suffering a bit there from the lag, though he is starting to get. Once now that he's got a few extra levels in the refraction, it looks like he will be picking up on that CS as he's gone for a very stock standard build. 3 in refraction, 2 in rather 1 in meld, 1 in sideblades, and then of course his ult. And he'll probably start maxing out meld after he finishes off his refraction. That's pretty much the normal way to do it, and he's already set down this preemptive Sonic trap there, getting ready to double. So basically, if Rubik pushes up to here, he's vulnerable. He'll get hit once by the slow. He'll try and fall back, and he'll walk straight into a second trap, and that will buy Templar Assassin enough time to run. Oh, that she'll do it right from that position. There's a double slow. I don't think she's going to have enough damage here. If she walks on the tower, she could be in some danger, and Scandal rightly backs off. Does not have enough mana to continue the push there. Meanwhile, Undying is playing quite aggressively and very risky. The hook goes in, doesn't find anything though. I believe it was a blind hook there from Pudge. As the arcane boots have been picked up, I think by Pudge already. Yes, Pudge already has the arcane boots. He's looking for another hook here. 3 seconds. The tombstone's thrown down. Can he get this hook in here? No, they decide to back off. They do not want to fight anywhere near this tombstone. The zombie plague is way too difficult to deal with. However, Scandal's coming now. They throw down the meld strike. Decides to back off, using the haste to get the hell out of there. As they see the port come in, Pudge has been hit. It's a 1 second stun. There he goes. He gets driven back there by the Real Druid. Ice Path along with the Sonic Trap. Chaos Knight in trouble now. The haste back in there. Scandal's all over them. Chaos Knight taking serious damage. The hook there on Dirge. Great shot. Scandal has managed to pick up a kill. Dirge now running for his life. Now, Blow Your Brain's almost falling there, but it looks like stand-in number 2 is going to try and take a kill. The tether comes through. Macropie does not do enough damage. They're trying to get out of the range to get the hook, and they pull back. Jakiro Pudge gets killed. There was some miscommunication there. Scandal's going to try and get revenge, though, and it looks like Dirge, probate Dirge, he's on the run. The slow comes out again, though. The Sonic Trap. They throw down yet another decay. This stand-in is still fighting. Who is this guy? As down he goes finally. Scandal eventually manages to bring him down, but that Dirge fighting non-stop. It was given a bit of a break there by Pudge's foul hook, but in the end, you know, he made the best of a bad situation there. I would like to know, who is this guy? He's playing like Wagamama from, I believe it was Friday, was it Saturday night or was it Friday night? One of those nights. Wagamama, of course, probate. And we got another Fate Ball going there. So what does he manage to steal? He has picked up Refraction. Fog actually won't mind this. I mean, early on, that's a lot of extra. It's basically a double damage rune on demand for Rubik. That's a pretty decent steal. Plus, of course, the damage block is also really, really nice. But mainly, it's a huge damage increase early on. And there we go. Windrunner gets cleaned up there. A 4-second stun inside. Disruptor's ult. Not a lot you can do about that. The Undying, though, he hasn't bothered with Soul Rip yet. He's just gone for Decay, and of course maxing out that Tombstone because it is utterly the zombies are ridiculous. Pudge now, he's got his ult. He's looking for a hook. Decides to back off though. Meanwhile, it looks like Disruptor has headed towards mid, although he's out of mana, and he's not got that much health. Looks like he'll be backing off there. See Templar Assassin with some preemptive traps thrown around, looking for anybody who basically scouting people out who might be moving across there, and just basically any kind of rune fight that happens around this area, she's got slows on demand set up. Now Rubik obviously knows there's one right here. In fact, if you're playing against a Templar Assassin, you always suspect a Sonic Trap in this area. They look for a Shackle, don't manage to find it though. However, the Radiant side, they're pulling in reinforcements here in the mid lane. Undying, no, just looks changing his mind, he will be backing up. Has picked up his Arcane Boots. Venomancer feeling rather poor at the moment. What region is Empire? They're Russian. I don't know what region of Russia, but probably Google that or something. More Sonic Traps being thrown in. Another defensive one as well. Someone tries to dive, basically. That's a lot of traps they can get hit by. Counter warding being done by Empire. Just getting rid of some map vision for Dignitas. And of course, when you've got ganking heroes like Pudge on the enemy team, always going to be watching out there. Here comes Wisp diving in here. They're going to go for the Tombstone once again. They get the Tether stun. There's Dismember as well. Can they get the DPS on him though? The hook will finish. And the zombies will not be bought enough time to do their magic. In fact, we're just going to farm them for a bit of experience. Of course, the zombies do give away experience. Not a whole lot. As we see the Reality Rift, are we going to see a stun? Tether away, the stun, the hook in. Latches, it brings Chaos Knight inside the tether. What a shot! Fantastic play there from Blow Your Brains and Blue Starly. As they teleport out. Oh, wait, they teleport further down the lane. They pick off the Venomancer as well. Down goes Pudge, but they got what they wanted, which was the kill. As it looks like Blue Starly needs to be careful. He will probably be... No, he won't be dragging Scandal back. He cancels the tether there. And Scandal now backing off. He has been slowed there. Although here we got a bit of a fight down by the rune. The Macropyre dual breath. Tides is stuck inside Macropyre. That is not a good way to go. That is a horrible flaming burning mess. The stand-in is apparently Bulba. No, I don't know what they're saying. It's Bulba apparently. I don't know who. I know who Bulba is, but I can't confirm. See Fog now being beaten on here, pops his magic wand, likely to fall, and Mel will finish him off. Venomancer tossing out a slow, but here comes Pudge. In fact, he needs to be careful there. Pudge looking for a long range hook, however, they see him coming. The creep do, of course, chase Pudge up there and give him away. So I see Scandal deciding to replace his Sonic Traps because he can. 82,000 back down the bottom lane. So let's check on the gold graph at the moment. Currently sitting on a 2k gold lead for the Dire side. Experience-wise, a 3k gold lead at the moment. Oh, rather, a 3k experience lead. As we see a haste rune there on Scandal is looking for a bit of a gank here. The Reality Rift in, the baiting with Windrun. She pops of Windrun. She's going to get away here. The tether comes in, the slow as well. Can they get the tether stun? The shackle shot will do the job. They don't get the tether, but the shackle shot is all they need. And we see the nukes there from Disruptor. The hook goes in, doesn't manage to find anything. The glimpse there to bring Scandal back. The Tombstone is down as Pudge gets blocked in there by a zombie for a moment. Decides to kill it off. They're going to try and get rid of the Tombstone though. It is worth a fair amount of money. As you see, 130 bounty. That's a fair amount.
I'll return the favor.
Disruptor though has got Smoke of Deceit on him. The push is on though from the Dire side. Empire getting ready to try and pick another hero off here and then pick up a kill. So I really like this ward here, the Sonic Trap there, just giving vision. Now they're just going to dive in as they see Guardian Wisp giving away. Dirge gets hooked out, dismembered as well. He's likely to fall. They also pick up Disruptor who throws down his ult. This is a sort of a final screw you. And Empire, they get the pick off and now they'll do the push. Meanwhile, Rubik just decided to counter push in mid. Fog really hasn't been all that active so far.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And Wisp, though, he has his ult. I'm just wondering if they're going to go and try and fly somewhere for a gank. Looks like there was a blink up there, though. They do teleport up. They're looking for the hook. Wisp gets in the way, though. The slow on Fog doesn't matter. They will clean him up with the match flows. And will they cancel the tether, or are they going to go together? It looks like they will head back together to the bottom lane. I think they're possibly looking for a pick-off here on somebody who tries to gank the Windrunner. See a Dire Ward thrown in there just to give Pudge and Wisp some vision. Tides is going to nuke down that creep wave. In fact, they're going to come around here. They might walk into the Venomancer. Venomancer definitely wants to start throwing down his wards, but he's actually put 2 levels in poisoning. That's very unusual. They're going to hook on O2000. O2000, no chance at all. Macro Power on top of Dirge preemptively. Dirge teleporting into the Macro Power. His Tombstone is not enough to help him out there. And they will just clean that up for free casher, as it looks like the foul belt coming through again. Scandal having something stolen. Just trying to find out what it was. It was a refraction. Once again, Pudge running for his life. We see the telekinetic wall thrown down. The hook goes in. Doesn't find anything. Goblin now falling back here. So you're going to see a Fade Bolt go through once again, doing some serious damage to the Wisp. Glimpse going to send Wisp back. Wisp now in the middle of his enemies gets taken out. And a hook in though on Fog. Fog likely to fall. Telekinesis not enough to save him. Pudge being slowed somewhat irritatingly there by a neutral creep. Will teleport home to safety. See Scandal resetting his wards, his Sonic traps. See Windrunner still working. That's probably going to be put towards a mech, that Ring of Regen, but she's feeling a little poor here. So I'm just going to bring up the gold per minute at the moment. We see 442 here. This is unfortunately Dignitas. They're all hurting quite a bit. See Chaos Knight the most found at 274. Scandal though, head and shoulders above everybody, 442 GPM. Pudge, he's been ganking a lot obviously, he hasn't really been focusing that much on his farm. He's obviously a ganker, doesn't really want to farm all that much, he wants to just cause complete havoc. Although that said, he does have a fair amount of... No, I lie. Actually, 41 CS at nearly 14 minutes in, that's actually fair. In fact, Scandal has of course been ganking quite a bit as well, so for Chaos Knight, so their creep score is a little bit low. But of course, Scandal's ganking has been a little bit more successful, plus they picked off a tower at the moment, whereas the Radiant haven't managed to do the same as of yet. I'm going to see a pause here for a moment, just going to bring up the chat, see if we've got any reason for it. Nope. Alright, no reason given just yet. See, the Badger is on its way out. Okay, it looks like Windrunner has actually got some items on the way. She's got a phase boots. Yeah, there we go. She's got part of a mech on the way, the buckler, and then of course her magic wand as well. In fact, Windrunner's been sitting on a bit of cash for a little while. He's Scandal though with his blink dagger now, and of course he has got he's also got part of his BKB. That Ogre Club more than likely going to be the BKB, which will definitely be quite necessary. It will allow him to shrug off all the slows there from Venomancer, keep him away from the nasty stuns, and of course Disruptor's ultimate is ever irritating as well. Alright, Dignitas are ready to get rolling once again. I'm definitely liking this ganking from Empire though. They're playing extremely aggressive. Looks like this time around they're not too worried about the this time around. I think the late game is mostly going to be coming in the form of Templar Assassin, maybe a little bit, except Windrunner hasn't really bought the right arms. She's gone for more of a supported role than any kind of potential semi-carry role.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think Dignitas, while they're hurting at the moment, at the same time, I feel that they have better late game in the form that they have got Chaos Knight, and I just feel from the nature of Chaos Knight, he will have the ability to overpower Scandal if he gets enough farm. But the problem is, of course, getting enough farm. And obviously, O2000 isn't looking too hot at the moment in terms of farm. Gets ganked yet again. The teleport gank there from Pudge, jumping on top of the Chaos Knight and picking him off. And I think this is going to be a bit of a theme for the thing. We see here these aggressive wards being laid down just so they can spot anybody moving somewhere. And when they see them moving somewhere, they'll pick them off nice and easy like that. Wisp will just allow Pudge to jump all over them. See here, Pudge. Let's return to the mid lane with Wisp. They're going to try and push. Are they going to try and get a pick off with a hook and then go for the push? We'll see, of course. Venomancer, if he starts spamming those wards around, it might help out a little bit. See if he puts one up there. Just keep an eye on their backside. Potential hook locations for Pudge. Definitely find it interesting. I feel that I really don't know about the whole second level and poison sting. Normally it's just you get one level and then max out. Plague Wards without question. It could have been a misclick though. And there we get the hook in. Pudge picking up Disruptor, gets caught out. Easy pick, however, the counterattack's coming in now. The Macropire goes down, doing a lot of damage there. Bog just walking straight into it, does not really care about it. Windrunner gets picked off in the meantime, though. Chikiro is trying to fall back. Those zombies are crippling him in terms of slow, though. And now we've got Scandal getting dragged. Oh, no, Goblin getting dragged back. The tether comes through. Hook out there on Chaos Knight. He's going to go for the dismember. No, it's still on cooldown. 10 seconds. A 2-second stun to the tether there from Fog jumping in on top of Chaos Knight. The Guardian Wisp, though, doing a lot of damage to 82,000. Dirge now still charging in. Look at all those decay strength deals. He's so fat right now. Pudge now trying to retreat. Another hit there. Can they get another damage? Another nuke off on him. It looks like he's being healed up though by the tether. Fog's also trying to do the same there for Dirge. The hook goes in, finds Dirge. They drag him back. Dismember on the Dirge. Dirge so tanky. Look at those stacks of health. Just, you look at the bottom of the screen here, he's got so much strength, it's ridiculous. Has got some great decays off there. They're going to charge in though. Scandal now diving on top, gets hit by a 2-second stun. The Fade Bolt goes through there as well. Ice Path though, going to catch both of them. Standing now, General. Number 2, going to try and run for his life. The Tombstone gets tossed down yet again. And looks like Fog has been picked off, and the Tombstone is slowing down Scandal. Scandal just melds. Now Blue Starly about to fall. Tether's out at the last second. Can the zombies get him? Yes, they do. Venomancer with the ward brings him down. A slow there from Scandal. Scandal now falling back. Goblin can't decide whether he wants to farm these zombies or back off. Looks like he'll just leave them. Oh, not zombies, rather. Creeps. They're all grayed out. They look like zombies for a moment. The Tombstone is still standing as it looks like Scandal will try and pick up the Tombstone. Nope, doesn't get it. Denied. Tombstone disappears and despawns. 82,000 looks like he's just going to stack this and then attempt to farm it. Way too sexy.
Middle tower is under attack.
Still feeling fairly poor. I am still... As long as, I feel like as long as Dignitas can hold on and drag this game out, they definitely do still have a shot in this, especially since Dirge is, I mean, I've got to say, that fight there in mid, Dirge definitely helped, Dirge saved that fight for them, without a doubt. Had Dirge not managed to get so many decay stacks, I don't think that fight would have gone half as well as it did. And it was definitely a great recovery, especially when they had Disruptor picked off straight away. Wasn't able to drop off anything there in the middle of the fight. Was not a bad response at all. Now Goblin getting caught out all by himself. Carl, what are you doing? Gets dragged back there by the Reality Rift, but there really is no escape from here. He's just going to throw out a few nukes, and he will get brought down in a second there. Cleaned up there by a 4-second Chaos Bolt. I think he was possibly trying to throw down a ward behind the tower. That's my only guess. I'm not really sure what he was doing all the way over here. Maybe a ward just to try and spot someone just for Pudge and Wisp to go ganking. He did have some wards on him. As it looks like he's building Veil of Discord. See, Pudge gets, I think he just had his hook stolen. No, he lost Rot instead, which is probably less problematic for him. Seeing as it's on Rubik, and Rubik can't really afford to spam Rot all that much, just not having the strength gain for it. Scandal now has picked up the recipe for his BKB as well. As Adam Ryumi's asking, what's a refraction charge? You see how it's got 5 stacks there? It's like 5 charges. You can hit 5 times before refraction disappears. That's what a refraction charge is. As you see the Chaos Bolt come down, though, it manages to catch Blow Your Brains. They throw down the Disruptor as well as the wall. Goblak is stuck inside it. The Tombstone as well, chasing off the dire side. Reality Rift going to drag Blue Starly back. There's a glimpse, though, dragging Pudge back. The Decay once again on Pudge. Another Chaos Bolt throw. Only 2 seconds, though. It looks like Dignitas are deciding to back up somewhat. They just want to get this tower down. Stack some damage. They don't want to overextend here. Scandal is skulking about. And it looks like they're just going to cancel their push and just fall back for the moment, as SS was counter-pushing up in the top lane. He did, in fact, I believe he, in fact, even popped his, oh no, it was popped the buckle, it wasn't drums. Windrunner still working towards the mech. Actually, no, it's done. Yes, it's finished there. They hear Wisp teleporting, though. They're going to go for I-2000. They glimpse him straight back, though. They glimpse the wrong one. Oh, when you do that kind of thing, Disruptor, like, you're meant to do it against the guy who ports in, not the Wisp. Of course, Pudge can, if Wisp disappears, Pudge can handle it anyway. He's a good ganker on his own regardless. But of course, you send the Pudge back, and suddenly Wisp is like, well, holy crap, now what do I do?
Radiant's middle tower.
But it was a great setup nonetheless there. The Shackle trying to set things up, just buying time for Wisp and Pudge to literally drop right on top of Chaos Knight. Fortunately, a misplay there from Disruptor, saving that gank for them. There we go. He will actually be chewing through this now. He'll be chewing through this Roshan now. Or not. They've decided, they've changed their mind. Oh, okay, it looks like a bait, possibly, or maybe they just completely changed their mind. Looks like they just, it looks like it wasn't bait, they just completely changed their mind. However, Dignitas responded immediately by smoking up and charging towards it, which is definitely a good response there. Spidey senses there from Empire backing up. It looks like it possibly was bait. Maybe they're hoping they'd go in there and start fighting and then jump on top of them. However, Pudge has gone back to the bottom lane. Looks like he's possibly grabbing his own BKB, him maybe. He has picked up a Mithril Hammer. A2000 now hammering on them with the arrows, getting hammered on them by the arrows. Ice Path not even close. Someone just throwing out a very hopeful Ice Path there. And now Pudge and Wisp are charging in here. Wisp actually overloading the Pudge. CDK being thrown down because he can, I guess. Bolt has picked up a regen room. We see the dual breath there. It looks like both teams sort of, it's a bit of a Mexican standoff here. Neither team really wants to commit. It does fall back to where their first tier tower was. However, Empire still have theirs up. It's up to Dignitas to try and push this. Empire are probably quite happy to sit here and wait for a potential gank to open up here. They don't really want to push forwards. See, Undying keeps throwing down these decays, hoping someone's going to walk into it. He has picked up his own mech. Anybody picking up a pipe at the moment? In fact, Undying could probably grab the pipe next. I think at this point in time, it looks like Venomancer is too small to go for that. Too poor to go for that pipe. To bring up the gold per minute at them. Still, Templar Assassin head and shoulders above her. Look at those Sonic traps, one after the other. He really just wants to cascade those slows. See there, Templar Assassin, 440 GPM, so much ahead of everybody else. Dirge, 294, the closest one behind him, just getting ahead of SS there. It looks like they've decided they will go for Roshan. Of course, when you've got Templar Assassin, early Roshans are fairly easy. She can absorb a lot of damage from Roshan. Also, of course, the negative armor, one of the best ways to try and shoot for Roshan in the early game. You know, makes him a lot easier to kill. So we'll see him fall there and a free Roshan. So we'll take Empire. Dignitas did respond, looking for Empire. However, they came just a little bit too slow. Pudge sending out a searching hook, doesn't find anything though. Goblin now. It seems like it looks like he is building the Veil of Discord, but we'll see. And there we go. It's just been finished. The Veil of Discord. So they're going flat out for their magic damage potential here. Of course, it really does help cause. It really does make Pudge deal a load of damage there. And of course, Macropie. You trap someone inside the Macropie, hit them with the Veil of Discord, they fall extremely quickly. Look at the damage level on that. 100 flat at level 1. As the hook goes in, doesn't find anything. We'll just clean up creep stack though. That looks like Templar Assassin was hoping she could get her hands on. That or Chaos Knight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under.
It's going to be one of them that was going to steal that stack, and Templar Assassin, she beat him to it. In fact, she's going to steal the other one as well. Chaos Knight would be spinning chips if he knew what was going on in here. All of his stacks being nicked there by Templar Assassin. Counter what he's been done now by the Radiant side. And they've got their Plague Ward set up. Not a bad plan as well. Oh, 2000 must be counting his lucky stars. Just barely avoiding being hooked. I still think it's probably a Black King Bar Pudge, but we'll see. It's mostly just to deal with the large. Like they've got a lot. They've got telekinesis. They've got whatever Rubik steals, and of course they've got Chaos Knight, Glimpse, all those annoying spells that Disruptor has available. His ult. And like in this case, Pudge really wants to get that lockdown on someone. If he can lock somebody down with Dismember while they're stuck inside a Macropie, he can pretty much kill just about anybody he feels like. So it looks like they've gone to top and then teleport straight back to bottom. Plague Ward, though, scouting out Chikiro. 22 seconds. They're getting hit by a slow there. Sonic Trap, although nobody's deciding to follow up. They see the Pudge on start pinging him madly. Dignitas deciding to fall back. Same for Empire. Both teams deciding to fall back here. Empire, though, I think Dignitas, they're just trying to stall here. It's up to Empire really to push this one. Since Lanae, her BKB is done. Pudge also getting more parts for his BKB. But as it is, come the late game, I really feel like Calzone is going to have the advantage. Just they need to stall for time and get him some items. And of course, this kind of farming by yourself, this is very, very dangerous against Pudge and Wisp. Chaos Knight's doing, there we go, yeah, he's backing up. He knows this is incredibly dangerous and immediately backs up. If he doesn't have somebody watching his backside, it's far too dangerous to farm alone away from a tower. Even under a tower is incredibly dangerous. As we've seen, Chaos Knight has been picked off under towers as well. Windrunner now looks like she's probably working towards a Hex, more than likely. She has picked up a Void Stone. Her mech has been done for a little while now. Pudge and Wisp tethered up once again. I think they're looking at the moment. They're looking for a potential gank, but haven't really found an opening just yet. Dirge, it looks like he's working towards his Arcanum Scepter. Has picked up his point boost. I'm just going to open up the items tab here. Nobody's picked up anything major that's new just yet, although obviously Fog has picked up a Staff of Wizardry, more than likely working towards a 4th staff there. Now this guy, Chaos Knight, actually getting his stack. Nobody's stealing it off him this time. But now Empire, they're getting ready to push mid here. They're going to try and force... They're going to try and force Dignitas to fight. I'm going to try and get a few more pickups, just to delay them some more. As Fog now gets caught, there's a blink, the meld. Can they get another couple of hits? They get the shackle off as well. Fog falls almost immediately. Power shot through as well. Venomancer has been hit there by the Veil of Discord, taking a lot of damage. He will back off though. Dirge now comes in, throws down the Tombstone. Ultimate there from Tides. Can they pick up Scandal? Macro Pyre gets tossed in. Doesn't really hit anything. The Ice Path, on the other hand, does hit Tides. And now we're going to the Aegis pop there on Scandal. Scandal going to pop up inside a telekinetic wall. Blinks down immediately with the BKB. And Wisp also moving back. Pudge went down in that fracas as well. And also Chikiro dying on top of that. So a decent hold there from Dignitas, I feel. They keep their tower alive, and they also keep their carry alive, and also pick up a couple of enemy heroes. Not a bad result for them. If they can keep doing that, it's exactly what they need. Scandal now has decided to finish up a magic wand. SS still counter pushing. Oh, still counter pushing the bottom lane. So Ward's trying to keep the pressure on. Ward's still being tossed down by the Radiant side. Is there a smoke up? It's way too sexy. Using a smoke to protect himself while he tries to... Well, I thought he was trying to ward alone, but maybe he's trying to access a secret shop, which is kind of weird. No, he is just trying to ward the enemy ancients, which is definitely a bit more normal there. Just keep an eye on what's going on over there. Also, this allows them to see, because often if you're faking a rush, what you do is you run in, fight, smoke out, and then you'll go and sit up somewhere like here or over here and just get ready and wait to jump the enemy as they rush inside. And that ward does give them a little bit more warning.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Akaris, this is game 1 of the best of 3 series. Pudge now, still working towards that BKB. See Goblin. Nothing else major yet. Fog, on the other hand, I'm not... Oh, right, yeah, that's right. That's a new 4-star recipe. I was about to say, what is he doing with those items? No, of course, he's building the new 4-star. This will just help give him some ability. It will also help them kite away from the Pudge and Linnea as well. And Linnea has finished up a Desolator. This is going to be trouble for Chaos Knight. He really hasn't found his feet there in terms of farm. Looks like he's working on a BKB. That will definitely help out quite a bit. Scanner now has picked up a gem. A gem, of course, going to give them plenty of map control. That's exactly what Empire want. They want Dignitas to be scared. They want them to be hiding and worried about pushing out because they can't see anything. They know there's a teleporting ganker on the other team. They're always worried about being wandering around alone. It's exactly the kind of fear that Empire want to strike into the hearts of Dignitas. If they don't farm efficiently around the map, then it's pretty much it's Empire's game to lose. Scandal now ducking into the enemy jungle. Just going to have a look to see what he can find. There is nobody in there though, so they have ported out. Cowstar again pushing up by himself, although he just has some backup relatively close there. See Punch, he's tethered up. They're considering teleporting. They'll have to wait for the next tether more than likely. And Wisp, he's picked up, this is not a bad decision here, that picking up the Ghost, for sure it'll amplify the damage against him, such if he gets hit by Venomancer's ult, but at the same time it will prevent him from being singled out and destroyed by Chaos Knight, and of course he is a prime target to pick off, or even getting singled out and picked off by Disruptor with his glimpse, and then of course Chaos Knight playing stacks on with him. Pudge still waiting on that BKB before they really try and fight again. His Dismember, of course, getting cut short whenever he gets picked off, and he does get targets done fairly frequently. Dice side also grabbing themselves a gem just to get some map control back. This will definitely help them out, just so they can farm a little easier and don't have to worry about their exact numbers being scattered out when they're trying to do something in their jungle. See, Chaos Knight though finishes up his BKB. Also, of course, we went for Tranquil Boots earlier, but the main thing is BKB is done, which is definitely going to help him out quite a bit. Now, Pudge and Wisp have returned to the top lane. Are they going to try and cause some action here? I know A2000 is here in the lane now, although he's shielding himself up nicely with creeps. See, Pudge decided to back up here. Scandal now, sort of taking his time to chill as well. Probably going to see maybe, I might even see something like a Mantra on Templar Assassin this time around. Jakira on the other hand still has has 1k in the bag. Linnea now looks like they're going to move down to Roshan and see if they can pick him off. Dignitas now, do they know something's wrong? Let's bring up their vision. Possibly they can see Wisp hanging around here as well as Jakiro. There we go. Yeah, they do know something's wrong. There was definitely a good chance that they knew something was up there. Looks like Scandal, though, should be able to clean up this Roshan attempt before we can see any kind of serious counterattack here from Dignitas. But Dignitas, they're going to go for it. Or not. They change their mind, dodge a hook, and then... See the slow there on Dignitas. Can they decide to pull him up? No, there is no pull out. There is no teleport over. Templar Assassination, no blinks over Wisp and Pudge. There we go. Wisp now diving in on top of Templar Assassin, going to try and cross down to Tombstone, gets tossed down. Ice Path goes in, not doing anything of any grade. Actually, no, it does manage to catch Dirge. I managed to miss him there in all of that fight there, as it looks like the slow has been thrown in there. Dual Breath as well. Rubik trying to slow them down with Dual Breath, not doing enough damage though. And now we've got Pudge just walking in after way too sexy, and a meld hit to finish off the Venomancer as Pudge manages to miss.
The temple decreed your death.
And they call the GG. Well played already. Not even waiting for Rex. Not even tier 2 towers down. Dignitas. What is this? Alright then. Well, I guess Dignitas, I mean, obviously, you know, they're struggling a bit. Scandal's kind of getting out of control in terms of farm, but I did not expect that kind of GG. I really thought, I mean, generally speaking, you normally wait till at least a Rax or something, but especially since, you know, they're not as far behind as they could. Well, I suppose they are in terms of gold, 15k behind, but at the same time, there's not, like, say, an anti-mage on the other team that could completely just trash them. So definitely somewhat surprised. But anyway, guys, that's game one. Empire versus Dignitas. I will say this much. Empire definitely were in a much stronger position than Dignitas. So I guess Dignitas said, you know what, screw it. Let's just cut this game short. Let's just get into the proper frame of mind. And let's go into game two with a fresh feel. rather than just fighting this one out, getting frustrated, really having only a slim chance of victory, and then just going to game 2 in a bad frame of mind. But thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Trumpman casting the Premier League Season 3. This has been Game 1, Dignitas versus Empire. We'll be moving into Game 2 very shortly. I was just waiting for the end game screen to pop up in a second. There we go. We will have a 5-minute break in between matches, so if you need a drink, need a snack, that sort of stuff, go and take a break. We'll be back with game number 2 in about 5 minutes. Of course, a big shout out to our sponsors, SteelSeries and Twitch TTD. They're the ones who make all of these games possible.